God. And that promise to God that I made was I would always pray. So I prayed when I was broke and struggling, and now I still pray 30 years later. So obviously not here to offend anybody, but I believe prayer is the key. So you guys, let's pray. Dear Heavenly Father, I just come to you today with bowed heads and humble hearts. Father God, I thank you for all of your many blessings. I thank you for your mercy, your grace, and all your goodness. Father God, I thank you for Tamara Burch. I thank you for all of the real estate agents. I thank you for all of the agents that I'm coaching in my coaching program. Father God, I just thank you for all of your many blessings. And Father God, I just pray that Platinum Real Estate and Luther Ragsdale's Institute will always be doing things that's pleasing in your sight. This we ask in the precious name of Jesus the Christ. Amen. All right. Well, I see. Wow, we still have people registering. Come on in. Welcome, welcome, everybody. I prayed and opened my eyes, and there was a whole lot more folks here. Welcome, welcome, everybody. Good to see everybody. Welcome, welcome, welcome. One thing that I always do, I like to make myself accessible to everybody. My phone number is right there on the screen. If you ever need me, you can call or text. I always prefer text. And that number is 470-740-9300. That's 470-740-9300. And again, I see we still have people coming. Welcome, 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 everybody. But let's talk about what we're going to talk about today. At Platinum Real Estate, we got some great things going on. We have a legacy program. It's called the 10-10 program. This program is wonderful. It's growing and it's you helping somebody else. How does the legacy program work? 10-10. So you as a real estate agent, when you are an agent at Platinum Real Estate, you can build your own network. And it's the 10-10 program. So every month you can have new agents join your network under you. I will personally coach all of the agents in your network. Platinum Real Estate obviously will support all of the agents in your network, but any agent that's in your network, you receive $10 every month. So when they pay their monthly fee to Platinum Real Estate, you receive $10 and you receive a 10% commission when anybody in your network closes a deal. So it's the 10-10 program. You're able to earn passive income every single month. As your business grows, you are guaranteed to receive passive income every single month. This is a guarantee. So the goal is in time, you have no monthly expenses for your business. This is absolutely wonderful. Also, I provide the leads. So Platinum Real Estate provide the leads. You might say, Luther, I don't know any real estate agents, or how do I get to know any real estate agents? We provide the leads for you. You will have a coaching meeting with me every single week. We have a coaching meeting every single week. It's private with me, and you're able to grow your business to the next level. If you're interested, contact us, careers.platinumrealestate.com. I'm very, very excited about the networking, and you're able to help another agent, bless another agent, and then grow your network. What else do we have coming up? We have a listing workshop July 26th, Saturday, July 26th. Full day workshop 9 a.m. Excuse me, 9 a.m. until 5:15 p.m. Saturday, July 26th, we will have the listing workshop. This listing workshop is approved by the Georgia Real Estate Commission, and you will receive 6 hours worth of CE credits. The tuition for this workshop typically is $499. Thanks to my good friend, Miss Tamara Burch. and also Leonard Medley, our vendors. They have sponsored the tuition to reduce it from $4.99 to only $2.99. So for the full day, it's only $299 for the full day listing workshop. Listen, to list is to last. Listings is where it's at. You need more listings. Okay? I always say every agent that I coach, listing is a part of your program. Whether it's 50-50, 60% listings, 70% listings, 30% buyers, every real estate agent, you need a listing program. And let me make this very, very powerful point. Platinum real estate agents. I am going to start giving platinum real estate agents listing leads. Yes, I said it. You heard it here first. Platinum real estate agents, you are going to have the opportunity to get listing leads from the corporation. Yes, this is wonderful. This is good. So you can say, Luther, I specialize in Gwinnett County. I would like to get some leads in Gwinnett County. We will give you the listing leads in Gwinnett County. Here's the deal. I just want you to just follow my proven system. I want to show you how to get 2 new listings every 47 days. Very, very powerful information. Come to the listing workshop July 26th. 100% money back guarantee. Excuse me. 100% money back guarantee. Now, what I have, the opportunity that I have, you can, for a limited time, pay only $27 and you're paying for the material only. So you're going to have workbooks, you're going to have forms, you're going to have scripts. All of that stuff I am going to give you. All you have to do right now, limited time only, instead of $299, you can make an investment of $27, which covers the material, which covers all of the books and the materials and all that you're going to receive. You invest the $27, I'm going to let you to the full day listing workshop. Now, this is only while seats last. Seats are limited. How do you register? Listingworkshop.lutherragsdale.com. Listingworkshop.lutherragsdale.com. Full day listing workshop. Your investment is only $27 for a limited time. When you check out, the keyword listing right there on the screen, the discount code that will reduce it from $29 to only $27. Code is listing. All right. Okay, so look, I'm excited. Let me look here. Oh, look, more people have joined. Hello, hello, hello. Thank you, thank you, thank you for joining, everybody. More people have joined. Welcome, welcome, welcome. So what are we going to do today? I see several hands raised already. This is going to be fun. Listen, I talked to Tamara, and for years, Tamara have been with, Platinum Real Estate for well over 10 years. I think it's 10, 12, 15 years. Who's counting? I have to stop counting because my age keeps showing, but I keep saying Tamara, she like ages like fine wine. The picture that you see right there on that webinar, she looks just like that in person, which I wish I could say I still look the same way, but I have changed over the years. But Tamara, she keeps it the same. So I said, Tamara, for years we've been teaching, having webinars, teaching agents. And there's nothing wrong with that. I love to teach. Tamara loves to teach. And we've had a lot of success teaching you guys. We have a wonderful following. You guys show up the first Tuesday of the month, 12 o'clock, right here. We have this free webinar. So, ladies and gentlemen, mark your calendar. The first Tuesday, 12 to 1, we have this session every single month. So I said, Tamara, we've been teaching Instead of teaching, let's open it up for questions because I have questions. I know you guys have questions. And I said, instead of us teaching like we normally do, let's just open it up, just wide open questions and just see what agents want to know. So I sent out a survey and I sent out information to you guys and I said come to this meeting with 3 questions, 5 questions and I sent out text messages saying, "Hey, I want you guys to ask questions." Okay. So that's what this is about. Just open forum, no set structure. We're just going to do questions and answer. All I ask is you can do one or two things. The most important thing, raise your hand. I see some of you guys already have. Raise your hand, ask the question. That's one thing that I love, right? If you're in a situation where you cannot talk, the chat line is open and I can read your question through the chat. So, one, raise your hand, open live. Two, hey, let's do chat. Okay. Um, So yes, chat line is open. So let me just send the chat to everyone real quick. That maybe that just says hello, let's talk. Okay. So the chat line is open, as well as live. I would love live, and I see you guys are already raising your hand. Good job, I love it. But before I get into the Q&A, let's start and let's just introduce Miss Tamara Burch. You guys know her, Vice President. Her phone number is right there on the screen, 770-916-1234. 770-916-1234. Website, tamarabirch.com. tamarabirch.com. Before we get into these questions, Miss Birch.
How you doing, Luther?
Hey, Tamara, how are you?
Amazing. Absolutely amazing. I love this idea. I mean, this is a great idea that you came up with because, we always finish each of the trainings and then we end up with so many questions. Sometimes we can't even get to all of them. So having a question and answer is just a wonderful idea. Love it.
Yeah, I said, Tamara, we teach a lot. We always teach. I said, instead of us talking to them, look, y'all talk to us. Tell us what you want to do. Tell us where you at. Hey, let's talk. So, yeah, I said, let's hear from everybody. And look, I already have some hands up, so I think it's going to be wonderful. Before we go any further, Tamara, I just want to say thank you very much. You're doing a wonderful job for our corporation. You're doing a wonderful job overall. I have to tell you a real secret. This is something you don't even know. This is a true story. Last week, I reached out to Tamara, and Tamara is so good. She has spoiled us so much that she returns text messages literally within minutes, right? She will call you back, she texts you back, and it's been like that for over a decade ever since she's been with Platinum. So last week, I reached out to her and I texted her, and I didn't hear back from her from like 15 minutes, and I was sitting in the kitchen and I was having my lunch, and I said, "Man, Tamara haven't called me back in 15 minutes." And so my wife said, "Luther, relax. It's been 15 minutes." I was like, "But Tamara's on point. She always text me back." I said, "Something have to be really wrong here. Tamara didn't text me back." My wife said, "Well, maybe she's with her husband or something." I said, "She ain't been with her husband for the last 15 years. She ain't with her husband now. Something's wrong with Miss Tamara Burch." And sure enough, she texts me back and she says, "Luther, I just came from the doctor. I was sick. Listen, what do you need?" Tamara, I felt so bad. I couldn't even tell you what I wanted because I didn't want nothing, right? I didn't want nothing of emergency. I was like, "You know what, Tamara, just go and go back to the doctor. My bad. Just go ahead and go." I felt so bad, Tamara. I said, "Tamara, Luther, I'm leaving the hospital. I'm sick. What do you want?" And I said, "Tamara, I don't want nothing." Tamara, I felt so bad. So I have to apologize for that. If you notice, I didn't even tell you my problem because it wasn't nothing serious. I didn't want nothing. Then I got worried and I was like, "Oh my God, Tamara didn't call me back in 15 minutes." So But later, I sat down and I realized, good service you really start to take for granted, right? You just really do. And since you respond so quickly, I'm not thinking, well, maybe she had to turn off her phone when she goes into the doctor or whatever. My point is, hey, you guys, listen, I have mortgage companies who haven't called me back in a day, a week, a month. I have mortgage companies that haven't called me back in 20 years. They didn't call me back, period, ever, right? My point is, we cannot take that for granted. And look, I'm at fault. Tamara just so much on point that I didn't even think that, maybe something's wrong here. You know what I mean? So, Tamara, I just want to reach out and say, hey, we appreciate you. Platinum appreciates you. You are doing an absolute wonderful job. Keep it up.
I appreciate that. That's so sweet. And yeah, I know. And then you're like, are you okay? So Luther really does genuinely care, which is hard to find, in this industry. So, he's asking, he's definitely wanting you to know he's cares a lot about you guys. So that's so important as well. So,
Yes.
but
Yes.
I'm excited about the question answer. I bet you we get a bunch of questions.
Now,
But
let's
guys,
jump
listen,
in.
this is our chance to kind of talk to each other. And I can tell you this, if you've got a question, sometimes people are afraid to raise their hands or do anything. But I can honestly tell you, if you have the question, someone else has the question. And so the more we share, I think we'll get a lot more out of this. And it might just be this one little nugget that you walk away with and go, you know what? I do have a buyer for that now that she said that. So please let us get these questions answered for you. If you throw something crazy off the loop at me, then I'll do research because Luther knows I'm not going to just answer something to answer it. In which case, we could circle back next month if we get something off the wall crazy.
We'll get it. We'll get it. We'll get it. Okay, so we have a hand up. Terry, let me see. Let me unmute. Ask to unmute. Get my technology together. First question. Let me see. Terry. Okay, while we wait on Terry, let me do this. Um, Let me ask a very important question to get this thing started off, and then we're going to go to Terry, and then I think Rika have a question as well. Let me
Can
start
you
with
hear
this.
me?
This is yes. We hear you. Let me start with this one, but right, baby, right here. Here we go. Tamara, I am a real estate agent, and can I, as a real estate agent, use my commission as a down payment to buy real estate for myself?
I love that question. That is like a definite multiple fold question because you're also thinking about yourself and building wealth, right?
Mhm.
So I'm so excited to see that question. And the answer is a solid yes. That is considered earned income. We're going to use that FHA, VA, USDA, conventional, even my DSCR loans, right? So any of those little crazy loans that we have available for you, you can use that as earned income, and therefore it gets to count. It's not a gift; it's your actual money. There's no seasoning on it, and it just goes directly on the closing disclosure. But Luther, if I circle back to you on that, don't we need to get the buyer broker approval to use the money too as well?
Yes, and I wanted to mention that. So, at Platinum Real Estate, I'm an investor. I preach building wealth. I want you to build a build wealth. I want you to purchase a home for yourself. I want you to purchase investment property. You can use your commission when you purchase a home. You can use your commission when you purchase investment property. The first property that I ever purchased, no, let me say the second time. The first time I purchased a property, I did not have real estate license. My father gave me a 3% gift. I'm going to ask that question a little later. The second property I owned is I had real estate license. I bought a duplex, owner occupied duplex, lived in one half, rented out the other half. I received a FHA loan, 3.5% down. I received a 3% real estate commission, pretty much no money down. It was a wash, right? I knew the answer to this one, but I just wanted to start it off with that. Real estate agents, from buying investment property to buying your personal home, buy a property, use your commission. Tamara can make it happen for you. Okay. All right, good.
That's such a good question. That was a great question. Love it.
Now, now we have a question. I have a hand up from Terry. I just want to do a shout out to Terry. Terry is already in the legacy program. She is building her own network. She is in the leadership program. So everybody in the legacy program, they are leaders. They receive leads from me, not only agents, but that they recruit, but they're also doing their own listings. I know Terry uses Tamara as well. So let's unmute her. Terry, can we unmute you? I'm not good with this but technology thing, Tamara. It says ask to
Can you
unmute.
hear me now?
There you go. Hey, how are you, Terry?
I'm well. Hello. Hello, Tamara.
Hello, hello,
Terry, what you got for us? Give us a question here.
One of my questions is what are the state and local assistance programs available for home buyers in Georgia?
Oh, nice. That's a good one.
So what is available?
Yeah. So her question is, and let me help everybody as well as with the agents. So as real estate agents, we always hear down payment assistance, no money down. But that buzzword of down payment assistance, let's do this first. Tamara, explain to us, because a lot of agents, and how do we explain down payment assistance to our buyers, right? And is there programs out there for down payment assistance?
This is a great question. And the reason it's such a great question is the percentage for the first time in a long time is super, super, super high that who's buying right now is first time home buyers. It
Oh,
is not people who have owned a home before. They're still buying. Don't get me wrong. Tamara said they're not buying. They are. But the higher percentage, and it's over 60%, is first time home buyers out there buying. So it is something you really need to be on top of, because first time home buyers, a lot of times we should be using down payment assistance to help them get in. There's still, even with all this social media, a misconception you need 20%. A lot of times they can close for $500 or $1,000. There's all different kinds of stuff we can do with this. The one that most people use in Georgia is the Georgia Dream Program, right? It's giving them money to help them close and giving them a great rate that does change. So, I don't quote those on here, but it's a better rate than the rates are today. So that's the number one program that we try to get people into because it's going to help them the most. But at the same time, there are other programs that sometimes allow for more money and allow for you not to be a first time home buyer. So there's other programs that are available. So if you have somebody, they don't have a lot of money, you should have them reach out to me, or you reach out to me and let's walk through it, because our 101% 0.5, excuse me, 101.5 FHA loan allows them to have 5% for down payment and closing costs. So that's a big deal. It's a huge deal to help somebody get into the home with very little money. And so all of these programs out there are to their benefit to be able to get in with very little funds.
And let me say this. Here's something that I hope everybody takes away from this training today, because that is absolutely an excellent question. As a real estate agent, we don't really want to get into Georgia Dream or this program or that program, because these programs come and go, and there's no way we can keep up with them. That's what we have Tamara for. Excellent question, Terry, because the answer is yes, they're out there. Yes, we should maximize them, and yes, we should be focused on advertising, saying, "Hey, buyers, contact us," because just like Tamara said, there's millions of people on social media that don't realize you don't have to have 20% down, right? You don't have to have 20% down. So, very, very good, Terry. Very good. Excellent question. Okay. Okay. All right. Thank you, Terry. And by the way, Terry, you are doing a good job. Keep it up with that legacy program and keep doing what you're doing. Okay. And let me mention this. We have a mandatory broker meeting this coming Saturday. It is for platinum real estate agents. We have been talking about this for the last couple of months, but it is this Saturday at 9 a.m. Terry's going to be there. Tamara's going to be there. Leonard Medley's going to be there. I'm going to be there. Platinum agents, do not forget this Saturday mandatory broker meeting. Terry, thank you. Thanks a lot for your question. Rika, I think Rika have a question here. Let me see if I can get her to unmute herself.
Can you hear me?
Yes, how are you?
I'm great. How are you guys today?
Doing good, doing good, doing good.
Good, good. Thank you for allowing us to ask questions.
No problem. Yeah, I think it's a great idea.
Yes, I do too. But my question is, as far as employment, when prospects are applying for a loan, how long is the employment time? How long do they have to be on a job?
That is such a great question. And I guarantee you other people had the same one in their mind and they just weren't raising their hand. So I'm glad you asked it. So there's all different nuances to it. But the gist is we're looking for a 2-year history, but they don't have to be at their job for 2 years. We're looking that they've been employed for 2 years. So they could be that they're starting their job tomorrow and have an offer letter. And we're going to take that offer letter and use that as their income. So there are a lot of extenuating circumstances to help somebody get started. But with that said, if they just went self-employed, then that's not the case, right? 2-year history for that self-employed person. For the W-2 person, not so much. Or if they just went to all commission, they were salary and they weren't commission, but now they're all commission. We're going to need to see a history of it. And that history for almost all programs is 2 years.
Okay.
So that if you get into a situation where somebody's just changed or did something different, definitely call so we can evaluate, is there a way to still make this work? There's one other exception to this rule, and we're going to see a lot of this right now. People graduating from college. Right. They're graduating from college. They don't have a 2-year history, but we actually use the diploma as their 2-year history along with the offer letter for the new job. So that instantly gives them 2 years of history.
Okay. Now, what about high school graduates if they don't have a college diploma?
That's on a case by case. So my recommendation for that is we do a commitment letter for that instead of a pre-approval letter. Get it right in front of the FHA underwriter or conventional underwriter and have them sign off on that income before we go shopping.
Okay, got it. All right. Thanks, Tamara.
You're welcome. Great question. That was a fantastic question.
Yeah. Because look, I have a daughter that just graduated from high school last week. So that was a good one. That was a good one. Look, I'm learning something too, Rika. And I can look, my daughter, she need to get her some property and move.
Yes.
Are you kicking her out?
I can't kick out my little baby girl. I cannot do that. I cannot do that. My baby girl is 18 years old. She just graduated from high school, and she graduated last week. I'm so excited.
I saw the pictures on Facebook. That was awesome.
Yes, I am so excited, and she did that. So I am just excited. Now it's time for college and all that kind of stuff. So Daddy's trying to, pull back. Daddy's trying to, give
Gotta let her go. Gotta
right
let her. Hmm.
and let her go and all that stuff. She's driving and she have her own car now, so she's out there. So Daddy just have to kick back. But that's an excellent question, Rika. Excellent question there.
Thank
Good,
you.
very good question. Now, since we're on, a kind of the down payment thing, here's another question for you to Tamara. Can the seller assist with the down payment? Can the seller give any money towards the down payment? Can they give any? Can they give all? Can they give 20%, 40%? How much can the seller get involved with this down payment thing?
That's a great question too. And again, put them in the chat like you're doing because that's helpful if you don't want to speak up out loud, because someone else is probably thinking the same question. So sellers cannot pay the down payment. Sellers can contribute for the closing costs. They can also contribute for the buy downs. They get that rate a lot lower. So what you may want to be doing then is mirroring it with like a Georgia Dream or a down payment assistance program, and then let the seller pay all those closing costs for them, including, I know Luther and I preach that, a home warranty, giving them that protection with the home warranty for a year or two as well. So sellers can pay for all of that. There's one exclusion to this rule, and that is for veterans. And several of you on here, I know, work with veterans. The seller is permitted with veterans to pay their debts. So that is a huge deal that the sellers can actually pay off credit card debt for the veteran to help them qualify.
Very, very good. Very, very good. Now, with that being said, staying on that whole, down payment assistant type of deal, um, is there a credit score requirement with any of these down payment type of things? Can anybody get the down payment? Is it for anybody and everybody? Because somebody's asking, and I get the question: is it just for the 850 credit score type of person?
That's a good question. I love that question. You guys have a lot of great ones. So down payment assistance, almost all start at 620, 640, 660. Those are the kind of rough ranges that we're seeing for most of them. In that range below that, I have not come across any for, like 580, 550. Do I do 550? Sure, but not with down payment assistance. But if we want that down payment assistance, then we want to get that score higher. But as you know, if you're working with me, we send them, here's how we could tweak it, right? Maybe they're at 610. If we pay this one credit card, we could tweak to 640. So we do send that to them, discuss it with them, come up with a plan together, because ultimately we want them to still purchase a home, their future home. And sometimes we just need a little direction on how to do that. We don't know where to go, what to do, what those steps look like. So we really want to help guide them in that step, and so that their journey becomes fruitful and they own the home. But typically you're looking 620 plus.
Got it.
That was a great question, though. I guarantee you somebody would have hung up and gone, man, I forgot to ask.
That's right. Here's another question. The question is asking, Tamara, do you do mortgages for someone in the state of Florida?
Oh, that's a great question. That question. I actually do Florida. Yes. Florida is one of my states. I think I have 11 now. I'm getting ready to get Colorado in the next couple of days. So, if you have a state and you want to reach out to me and you're doing a lot of business and you want a true professional partner, just give me a call. And I'll be happy to make sure that if it's something possible, we can look at adding that license for you. But Florida is one that I actively do a lot of business in.
Good, 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 good. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. Hey, I have a question here in the chat from Maisha. Maisha, can you ask this question live possibly?
Must be a good one then.
Oh, let's go. Yes, go here. Let me see if she's free. She might not be free here.
Well, and sometimes people get nervous about asking.
That's right. Let me see.
I'm not nervous about it. I'm actually in the car on a road trip. So
All right, all
Road
right, all right,
trip.
all right,
I
all
love
right,
road
all right,
trip.
all
I
right.
want to be on a road trip.
Okay, she's driving. She's driving. So let me do it for her. But let me tell you, she's doing a great job. She's in the legacy program as well. Great to have her. She has some deals going on. She's running her business. She's working her business. So she submitted a question. So definitely wanted to get this asked for her. Here's the question. It says, Tamara, credit score versus credit/debt ratio. So credit score versus debt ratio. How does it affect qualifying for a loan? So I want you to do this. Explain credit score. Explain. A lot of agents and a lot of people don't really understand the debt ratio thing. And then how does those two factors affect us qualifying for a loan?
That's actually a great question. That I'm impressed with that question. Um, the higher the credit score, the higher the debt ratio could be, right? Because it's all a risk factor. It's a computer looking at the risk of should we lend to this individual. So if somebody has, say, a 600 or a 590 credit score and their debt ratio is going to be 56%, then that's super high risk. If
Mhm.
somebody has a 780 credit score and their debt ratio is going to be 55%, that's less of a risk because that person pays all their bills on time. So the computer is doing a calculation on that. So the higher those scores are, the higher that debt ratio climbs. Typically, we start to see pushback when that debt ratio is exceeding 50. When you start to exceed 50 and that credit score is low, 640, 650, we're starting to see a little bit of pushback, but there's no guarantee that it couldn't go through still because there could be other compensating factors. They've been on the job a long time. They have assets. They have, retirement accounts. So it's the overall picture that the computer looks at when it makes its decision and issues the approval.
So let's talk about this. So I have a credit card. You have $1,000 limit. That's the max. So that we understand this debt ratio thing. So if I charge up is $1,000 limit, I charge up $500. That's 50%. So that debt ratio, right? So that debt ratio is 50%. Am I thinking right? Am I right? Kind of, yes?
A little sort of. So the higher that amount you owe on the credit card, the higher monthly amount you're going to have on that bill. And that monthly amount is going to be in your debt ratio for us to determine. So a debt ratio, when we are looking at it, is how much are you paying monthly for things like your car, your credit cards, your house, monthly student loan payments, monthly loan payments. So any of child support, alimony, any of those things that you pay on a monthly basis is and or on credit monthly is going to go in your debt ratio to determine is this too high or not for us to do the loan.
There you go. And the higher the credit score, that debt ratio can be higher with the higher credit scores. With the lower credit scores, we want lower debt ratio. Yes?
Right. Because if you think about it, that's a great question. Because if you think about it, if you've already got a 605 credit score and now you want a 55% debt ratio, the computer's thinking you're going to struggle. because you're already struggling now with a 605 credit score. You'd be really struggling with the 55% debt ratio.
Right.
And so that's kind of how the computer is analyzing the situation.
And the computer is analyzing the risk.
That is absolutely dead on. Yes, it is analyzing the risk, but it is analyzing it based on a million other people in the exact same situation.
Okay, so licensed real estate agent. Let's talk personal now. Let's forget client. We've been talking buyers, we've been talking clients. Now let's talk to us. Talk to me, right? As a real estate agent, what's a very good debt ratio that you would recommend that I stay at?
Well, I really love below 50, although we go to 56 with that FHA and 67 with VA. Why? Because you still want to be comfortable, right? We want our clients, your clients, my customer, to be comfortable in that payment. We don't want them to struggle. We want them to still take that vacation or go to the movies. And we don't want them to feel strapped by the home that we sold them. This is their journey through life, and we want it to be comfortable. Did that make sense?
I'm with you. No, yeah. And I just like to, just kind of say, hey, let's keep it below 50. I try to personally keep that thing below 30. I try to keep it in the 25 to 20 range. I am teaching my kids about money, and I'm teaching them because both of my kids, they work for the company and they get paid for the company. And just last week, my, daughter, she receives money from graduation, and I'm trying to teach them, look, save 70%, save 60%. Keep that debt ratio, keep these things low. Now, I know it's not a perfect world. But if I was educating real estate agents, when I coach, when I talk to people in general, I tell them this: listen, try to keep that debt ratio as low as possible. I know it's not a perfect world. I'll give everybody some advice that Luther Sr. told Luther II. My father told me this when I was getting married. He said, listen, you have to pay the cost to be the boss. And I've always stuck in my head. My father said, son, you have to pay the cost to be the boss. He said, never make your wife work. Let it be an option for your wife. He said, every bill that comes into your house, put that on your income. And if you cannot afford it, don't buy it. And let your wife's income is over and above. She never has to work. If you guys, as real estate agent, keep those type of strategies in your head, live off of one income, invest the other, live off of one income, save the other, you'll never have that debt ratio problem. Because if both people have to qualify for something, you never have a problem. Just a word of advice from an old man.
Well, and I think it's a great advice. And I hope that everybody on this call is looking to build up their own personal net worth and generational wealth by adding, investment property like I have, like Luther has. I think it, only will help you, like he's talking about. You have Social Security, you might have pension, you have real estate that's paid for. All of those things earning you money while you're retired makes it a lot less stressful in retirement.
Yes, indeed. Yes, 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 yes. Yes, 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 yes. Okay. All right. Let me see. Questions, anybody? Hands. I need hands. Anybody else? Questions from anybody? Let me see. Question: can a retired person use assets for income? This is huge. Can a retired, so I'm retired, don't have a job, right? Not working anymore because I am retired, but I have assets. I have real estate. I have stocks. I have bonds. I have whatever. Can I still buy real estate? Excuse me. Can I still buy real estate, Tamara?
Well, and I'm glad someone asked this question because I think everybody on this call, everybody on this webinar, you're going to get a lot of calls over the next 10 years about this particular question. In fact, I'm getting lots of calls already about this question, so I'm glad it's getting asked. And the answer is yes. So those assets are, we call it an asset depletion. That means that we're going to take those assets divided by so many months, and then that is their income, even if they're not drawing on it. Now, why would somebody in retirement not draw on their money? Well, because maybe they do own rental property. Maybe they are getting Social Security. Maybe they're getting pension. Maybe they're getting all three. They don't want to draw on that IRA or that 401k because it's still earning money for them. It's still growing exponentially, right? And so they're not trying to tap into it. So because they're not tapping into it, we can say, if you were to tap into it, here's how much money you would be taking per month. And therefore, this amount of money can now be used as income, even though they're not receiving it as income. It'll give them that little boost that they may need in order to get into the price point they're trying to get into. Maybe they're trying to get into one of those 55 plus communities that are popping all over the place, and so that'll give them that amount of income, hopefully, to help get them there. That was a fantastic question.
Good, 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 good. Good answer. Good answer. Good answer. I have a hand up. Rika, let me see. Can we get her to unmute herself?
Hey, can you hear me?
Yes, yes, we can. Question.
Yes. Do you do land loans, Tamara?
We do, but we don't do the little baby ones. They're the much larger ones, typically over 100,000.
Over 100.
Yeah, they're typically the bigger priced ones versus those little tiny baby 10 or 20,000s. Those
Okay.
they just need to pay cash or take a HELOC against one of their other properties and pay cash for that
Got it.
land.
Okay, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Good,
So
good,
good.
good,
That's a
good
good one.
question. That's a good question. Now, another question here. After bankruptcy foreclosure, can you help me with financing?
That is a great question. And a lot of people, when you're talking to them about selling their homes, one of the big reasons people are selling homes today is due to the amount of debt that they have. They have a tremendous amount of debt right now. And so they're giving up these 2, 3, 4% interest rates in order to clear out that debt and get a fresh start and avoid bankruptcy. So kind of keep that in mind when you're talking to these individuals, because even if they do have to file bankruptcy, it's not forever. There are some programs where you only have to wait 2 years. There's some programs where it's 4 years. There's some programs where it's 7. But the point is, you're getting a fresh start. And with that fresh start, it's not forever. It's an opportunity to put yourself back in the position that you need to be in and then, restart yourself. So bankruptcy is typically just 2 years. And then foreclosures, VA is going to do a foreclosure after 2. FHA wants to see 3 and conventional wants to see 7. But that's a really good question. Just really let them know that there's a light at the end of the tunnel.
Good, 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 good answer. Good answer, good answer. I have another question here. The question is, Tamara, I have a client and they want to get financing. They want their parents to give them the down payment. Does the parents have to show bank statement and where that money is coming from?
We're getting this question a lot right now, right? Because the generational wealth is starting to pass. And in some cases, the parents are passing a portion of it now versus at death. They're allowing their children to take a portion of their wealth now to buy these homes, to start their families, for their grandkids to live in. And you're going to get this more and more and more. And so one of the things that just changed in the last 12 months was is FHA now no longer requires the parents to hand over that bank statement. They just require them to transfer the money to the attorney if you're in an attorney state, or the title company if you're in a title company state. And so they're able to just send that money there. And that's what it is. A lot of times the parents, they don't want the kids to see how much money they have, right? They're willing to help them, but they don't want to give them that final number. And now they don't even have to do it for the loan, which is fantastic news. It calms everybody down.
That is good. You know, that is really, really good. And that's helping people build more wealth. Let me ask this, and this is just a personal question for me. I have a daughter and a son, right? Daughter's 18, just graduated from high school. Yeah, you know, right after college, I want to buy her a house, Tamara, right?
Mhm.
Okay, I am a real estate broker. Can I use my commission and give it to her, and it's the same thing?
That is a great question. I'm going to have to, well, as a real estate agent, you are permitted to pay closing costs as an agent.
Okay.
That I can answer right off the bat.
Okay.
Giving it to her at earned income, I'm going to probably say yes, but I'll have to circle back on that one. But you could definitely say I'm going to give her 2% of my commission to pay her closing costs, because maybe she's getting an FHA and the seller paid 4%, right? So that's still below the 6% required. And so you could do that.
And maybe Luther's thinking too much, and I'm thinking too outside.
No, you're not.
Sounds like
You'd be surprised how many parents actually pay 20%. You might be surprised how many step up and say, I'm doing one right now. She does not want her daughter to have mortgage insurance. She's given her 20%, but she doesn't want her daughter to know how much is in her bank account. And
I
so,
understand that.
we're
It's
saying
my
that.
child. If they, you know, it ain't a
Yeah, for sure. And don't forget, we're also seeing parents co-signing, right? So we're seeing that. But what I've begun to see a lot more of, actually, I have two customers right now, the children are co-signing for the parent. So we are beginning to see quite a bit of that as well, where it's flipping in the opposite direction.
Now, to piggyback on that, somebody in the chat says, hey, this is great news. Is this only for grandparents and parents? So can cousin,
No,
uncle, auntie, can friends, you know,
family member. Yep,
family
a
members.
family member.
Okay, so family
It's a lot
members can
harder
do
when it is a friend. It becomes more challenging, not impossible, but it does become more challenging. We have to prove the friendship. So typically they're signing the gift letter. It is a family member, father, brother, mother, sister, aunt, uncle, grandma, grandpa, step brother, step sister, step parent. It's somebody in the family.
somebody in the family. Good,
Mhm.
good. They
That's a
responded.
good question. That's a great question.
Responded in the chat. Excellent. Okay, Judith Jules. I think it's time for Miss Judith. Judith have her hand up. Let me see if I can get her to unmute herself. Talk to us, Judith. What you got here?
Hello. Hi. Good
Hey,
afternoon. How are you?
Judith, how are you?
I'm good. Hope all is well with you. I have two questions. My first question is regarding down payment assistance. Is it always something that you have to pay back, like the terms for it?
Not in all cases, but in almost all cases now. We had a bunch of grant programs, but all of those went away. So if you find a grant program, it can be mirrored with one that we have. But at the same time, most of those are gone and you pay them back. What I like about some of them is, as an example, there's some in Florida, because I know somebody's on the call here in Florida. But there are programs where there is no interest on them. You pay it back when you sell the home. It just sits there on title waiting. And so if your home is appreciating, then it makes it easier for you to pay that back when you finally sell it.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. And my second question is based off of the FHA rehab, the 203K, regarding that, the requirements. For example, if we're showing a buyer a home and she's like, this is not the kitchen that I want, and they don't have the money to like do a rehab like after they purchase it? That's not something that they can do with that, is it?
That is such an impressive question. I'm so impressed by this question. So when you are showing property, because what are we seeing right now? We're seeing a lot of property that used to be rental property that's on the market. These are investor owned rental properties and they don't want to own for one reason or another and they cash out. And that's a cycle. And we see it constantly, this cycle. And so you're looking at the home, great agents show that home as, hey, we have enough room in your pre-approval to potentially do a 203K on this, or you're a veteran and you want a rehab VA loan, we might have enough room to do a VA rehab loan. So when you're looking at the home, you're going, this is the area you want, this is the style you want, this is the room count you want, but maybe you want new floors, maybe you want a new kitchen, maybe you want new bathrooms. Why don't we write the contract for a longer period of time and do a 203K or do a VA rehab or a conventional rehab, and you can close on those loans as purchase loans.
Okay. So based off of your answer, you're saying we are able to, or does like
You
FHA say what? Okay.
100% you can. Yep, I close them all the time. Absolutely.
Okay.
It just takes longer to do because you're needing to gather all these bids in order to close, because you're not ordering the appraisal until you have all these bids.
Okay. Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Great way to show a home, especially the ones that you walk in and you're like, yikes.
That's right. That's right.
Yikes, what is this? But it's where they want to live, right? So I called it the avocado dated house, because the person's been living in it for 30 years and they never bothered to do anything at all. And that's exactly what these renovation loans are for.
And let me say this too, mentioning that, one of the things that we're doing with the legacy program and all of my legacy agents, I am actually giving the agents leads. Fire leads, listing leads, and that's something that we're starting with the legacy program. Agents, investment properties are hot right now. Like Tamara was saying, there's a lot of great investment opportunities out there. So what I'm doing with all of my legacy agents is, hey, let's get some listings for foreclosed properties, for investment properties. Let's get some of these like Tamara's talking about, these ran down properties that needs 203K loans. Let's list them. When the buyer comes, no problem. We have Tamara with the 203K loan. We can still get it sold. So a lot of great opportunities out there right now. And what I'm doing and what we're doing with the legacy program is, hey, I will give you the people to contact for the listing. I will give you the leads, right? I just need the legacy team, who are the leaders in the corporation, to reach out, contact the person, do the listing, et cetera, et cetera, or go through the process. Okay. So yeah, Tamara, excellent opportunities out there, and we need to maximize them indeed.
Well, and this was great. I mean, we had so many questions that it sounds like we may end up repeating this sometime again later this year. It seems like a lot of people had a lot of questions. So super exciting. And I thank everybody for all your questions. And know that I'm always here for you. It's not up on the screen there, but you can give me a call anytime. 770-916-1234. I'm happy to make sure we get any and all questions answered for you.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. 770-916-1234. Also, TamaraBurch.com. TamaraBurch.com. Look, we will, platinum agents, we will see Tamara at the mandatory broker meeting. This is for platinum agents only. This coming Saturday, 9 a.m. until noon. Platinum agents this Saturday. Do not forget the mandatory broker meeting. All agents, July 26th, we're going to have that listing workshop. You can go to listingworkshop.lutherragsdale.com. I will actually Put in the chat here. Listing workshop dot lutherragsdale.com. Yes, go there, get your seat right now. It's only $27 for all of the materials. Normally the tuition is $4.99. Thank you to Miss Tamara Burch and Leonard Medley that have got reduced from $4.99 down to $2.99. And for a limited time, you can attend that listing workshop for only $27. All you have to do is pay for the materials, and the code is listing. Okay? Going to have a good time with that as well. If you're interested in our legacy program, feel free to reach out to us. We do have some opportunities there as well. But lock in first Tuesday of what? God, it's June already. First Tuesday of July. First Tuesday of July. And let me do this while I have everybody on the line. That first Tuesday of July is July 1st. Okay, very, very good. I will still be in town. I will be leaving the next day, but I will be here on the 1st. So we'll get that thing done. Okay. All right, you guys, listen, thank you, everybody. Look forward to seeing everybody very, very soon. Tamara, great job as usual. Thank you for everything that you do. And look forward to seeing everybody really, really soon. Okay. Talk to you soon. Have a good day.